YouTube, Twitter, Professor Princess, SoundCloud, SoundClick. This is going to be another excerpt of my Romans, well, the Christians, the Jews, and the Muslims. It's another excerpt. For those of my sports fans who are waiting for some more NBA stuff, I just don't have anything right now. And, Supreme Allah has been giving me a lot of information, but I'm just switching gears for a minute. So thank you for watching my videos. Anyways, the gram, I'll be on the gram, TTONE Tone 202 on Instagram, and don't forget to check out my music just right there. Wow, I just had a huge spike. Oh, okay. Yeah, check out my music just right there. Just Google it. Anyway, so here's what I was thinking. Okay, since Donald Trump is most likely going to be president, even though he wants to grab girls by the coochie, he wilding. But he's probably going to be our president because he he's got more. I don't know. He's just got more people behind him. But nonetheless, it doesn't really matter who's behind him except for what the College of Electoral Votes. I mean, we saw what happened. Uh, when Bush, you know, pretty much stole office twice. It didn't matter what we said. It didn't matter how we voted. They put him in there anyway, and he destroyed the country. And pretty much the economic world is what he did. He crashed the World Bank, but nonetheless. Uh, but okay, so with all the things that's going on, with the megalomaniac Donald Trump getting ready to get in office, with the Russians threatening America, and then America turning around and threatening them, and then Russia flying blackjack bombers, supersonic bombers around European countries, just skirting around them just to test them, and those countries scrambling jets. It's about to get deep. And then you have the police shootings where they're just shooting us and getting away with it, and everybody wants to sit down and talk. Every time one of us gets blown away, nobody's doing anything about it. They just want to talk. Mary J. Blige singing to Hillary Clinton, which did absolutely nothing except make Mary J. look awkward as heck. I didn't even listen to it. And, but nonetheless, with all the killings going on, killings every day, the police just killing the black people, the black Jews. Because you notice the police aren't really killing anybody else. You might have a white person in there, a Hispanic every now and then. Heck, I think an American Indian just went to jail over a speeding ticket, and they killed him in jail. But you don't see any of the Asians. I don't know when's the last time an Asian got killed that wasn't their fault. Because I think one of them tried to kill a bunch of people and they, killed him. But you don't see any Asians or Indian people, or people who are, well, yeah, just Asians or people from India. You know, you know what I'm saying? You see mostly just black people, but any other race, most of the time it's 900 of us out of 1,200 last year. It's mostly black people. But I made a video talking about we should move. We should move back to Africa. Well, let me change that. Okay, so the when I was studying the Talmud yesterday, found out that the Jews came from Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is in Asia. Then they migrated to Jerusalem because Mesopotamia had a plague or something, which is still in Asia. And then they went into Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, and that's where they were pretty much enslaved by the Egyptians. And then after that, they let's see, they were invaded in 70 A.D. by the Romans. Then they went into Egypt, and they were enslaved by the Egyptians, who were also black people, but they were Africans. So the African Americans today are Jews. They're not. We are not Africans. You notice that we don't usually mix with Africans too much. You're seeing it more now, but usually it doesn't happen. Africans pretty much stay to themselves. But nonetheless, so once they were in Egypt, and then they left out of Egypt, and they went into the land of Canaan. Once they went into the land of Canaan, uh, let's see, I went into the promised land of Canaan. Ah, man, I got my timeline screwed up. Anyway, so after they left out of Jerusalem, because of the Romans, they were sold into slavery by the Africans during the transatlantic slave trade, and that's how we got here. I'm saying all that to say this: we have never been welcome here. Donald Trump supporters are yelling every day, "Go back to your own country." Where is that exactly, white person? And where's your country? Because you don't belong here either. I'm just wondering, white people, go back to your own country. Well, you first. you know, you got a nice boat trip, ahead of you, bro. Knock yourself out. But I guess what I'm saying is, you know, recent development like Akon. Akon is from Africa. I forgot what part of Africa. He's from a country in Africa. The whole, when people say you're from Africa, it's like Africa has a lot of different countries. So Akon is from Africa, a country in Africa, and he is doing something with electricity that's, pretty doggone impressive. And I don't know if he's from Senegal. He looks Senegalese, but nonetheless, they're tall people. So, nonetheless, what he's doing has got the attention of the Chinese. The Chinese is they're putting $1 billion into what he's doing. Now, when you think about the history and how we got here, and how we were betrayed by our own people, we were betrayed by also we were betrayed by African people, and then we were put into slavery, by white people, by the French, by uh, the English, by the Hispanics, excuse me, by the Spaniards. When you think about the 12 tribes and the captivity that we're living in now, you think we're never welcome here. Now, just imagine if Africa, the largest continent in the world, I think the largest continental landmass, I think it is. But if Africa, let's just say that Nigeria got their act together, because right now Nigeria is living under the uh, pressure of course, Europe, uh, Europeans, and I think America has a lot to do with that because it's all about the oil, and I think it's Texaco or Shell. It's Shell oil. So Shell oil is pretty much sucking all the oil out of, they're trying to suck all the resources out of them, and then you have a regime over there that that will, as far as their president, they're crooked as hell. So they're just taking all the money and they're letting, all those people who are, it's like 189 million of them. They're just letting a bunch of people just starve, and so what the people start doing is they start revolting. They're revolting against these against Shell itself. Shell has an army over there, literally a bunch of guys with guns over there also. And then you have the Nigerian government who is attacking and killing people who even speak out against what's going over there. So the whole system over there is corrupt. But nonetheless, the land itself is rich, 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 rich with oil. And there's a couple other things that come out of Nigeria too that, just make that country worth paying attention to. But just think that one country alone. Just think, well, all those people there, just think if they got their act together and decided, you know what, we're getting rid of this regime, we're getting rid of Shell, because what they're doing is they're blowing up the oil lines and it has stopped production. They just went bombing them. Poof, poof, they're tired of it. So when you want to talk about guerrilla warfare, that's exactly what they're doing now in Nigeria because they're tired of it. They're just like we just want to get rid of the white people, and we want to get of the bad Nigerians who will not, uh, let all this oil money return to us and build our country up. That's not what they're doing. They're sucking all the oil out of it. Now, the same thing happened to Libya, but what did we do? We went and killed Gaddafi. So America is in this deep. We got blood on our hands. President's got blood on his hands. He knows it. We're the ones funding this. We're the ones helping this go down. And right now, there's nothing that can stop it because military. Uh, so right now, Libya is in shambles. But Libya used to be, I think, the highest oil producing country. But we went over there and took the oil. That's why we killed Gaddafi, because we went over there and you know we took their oil. And basically, so that's it for the people who lived in Libya. Broke out in civil war, so on and so forth. I'm saying all that to say this. I don't know about what act of God would need to happen, but if Russia, who is our enemy, who is an enemy of Americans, they're not the enemy of black people. See, you see the neutral zone that black people are in. Now the Chinese don't exactly like us, but they don't hate us. We've never bombed China. We never bombed Japan. We never bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You see, if you look at the passive aggression of the black people during the last, let's say, 400 or 500 years, there's no war from African Americans. And the wars over there in Africa were Africans fighting white people, fighting Europe, because Europeans came over there and divided up all of Africa and killed and raped and pillaged and did. That's Africans fighting white people. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at the passive aggressive position that we're in, we never dropped any bombs on anybody in mass numbers. So if China allied with us, like Africa has its own battles, Boko Haram, okay, fine. They're touting them as the Black ISIS or whatever. But okay, fine. That's just they're not dropping mega bombs on anybody. They're killing people. It's terrible, but they're not dropping bombs on. You know what I'm saying? When you look at that position, and when you look at Russia, Russia doesn't really have a beef with Africa. They don't have a beef with African Americans. They really don't. We're not trying to kill Snowden. We don't care. You know what I'm saying? So you look at China. I mean, when you look at India, all these countries have a beef with white America. When you look at all the countries in the Middle East, all the wars that's been going on, they're not fighting with black people. They listen, we may not be liked, but we are not hated like white people are. And that's just the blind truth. I mean, it's not even a blind truth. It's the clear and present truth. We're just not hated like white America is. We're not. If we went back to the continent of Africa, which we're really not from, we're from Asia. Jerusalem is in Asia. But if we went back even to Africa and then crossed over and went back into Jerusalem, and the hold of Jerusalem is taken from them, because the Jews over there they're not the Jews in the Bible, because if they were, then Christ would have been back already. And the scriptures clearly say that the Jews will not return to Jerusalem until Christ comes back. So I don't know why they're over there, and Kenneth Hagin and all of them are talking about Christ is coming back, because these Jews, they're not Jews, they're Arabs. They're Arabs and Russian Abkhazians claiming to be Jews. One is Jewish and the other one is a Muslim race or religion. They're two different religions. Neither one of them are Jews. They just tried to take what Jews originally had and study Judaism and claim that they were the so-called people. But nonetheless, if you really look at it and us go back into Asia, we would not be in a position that we are now. Just black people, just think about that. Just think about it.